this question. So here it says 21st Century Electronics has discovered a theft problem at its warehouse and has decided to hire security guards. The firm wants to hire the optimal number of security guards. The following table shows how the number of security guards affects the number of radios stolen per week. So what was given is the center two columns. We've got the number of security guards and the number of radios stolen per week. So we see that if we have no security, evidently we're having 30 radios stolen per week. If we hire a single security guard, that number is reduced by 20. So the marginal number of stolen radios is -20 for the first hired security guard. For a second security guard, we end up with 20 total stolen radios, or a marginal change of 10 fewer stolen radios. For a third, we're at 14 total, for a marginal change of back 6. For a fourth, we end up at 8, which is also -6, or we're getting 6 fewer radios stolen per week. And when we hire that fifth worker, they reduce the total number of stolen radios only by 2 total. And so we're given a couple of different situations. We've got if each security guard is paid $200 a week, so the marginal cost of an additional unit of security guard is $200. And the cost of a stolen radio is $25. So for every radio that's stolen, we're losing $25. Or for every radio security guard prevents being stolen, we would save an additional $25 in terms of prevented loss. So in this case, for scenario A, we've filled in the marginal number of stolen radios, and we're going to take the marginal number of stolen radios times the cost or value of an individual stolen radio. So -20 times 25 is $500. -10 times 25 is $250. -6 times 25 is $150. $150 and $50. So basically, the additional value of prevented radio theft of each worker is represented by this number here in this column, and it is the value of the marginal product of labor in this case. We're saving, so it gets kind of convoluted, but it's also maybe a more real-world example of the type of business decision that gets made. Maybe not so much with theft and security guards, but certainly like in quality control for inspections and toys. And what we're kind of seeing here is that the optimal number isn't 0. We, as a company, start to have less value in trying to prevent theft in terms of paying another worker to come in and do so. So under scenario A, they're going to hire worker 2. They'll save $250. They'll get paid $200. But worker 3 would only save $150 while needing to be paid $200. So in scenario 2, we hire 2 workers. In scenario A. In scenario B, if the cost of a stolen radio is $25, what is the most a firm would be willing to pay to hire the first security guard? So the first security guard saves us 20 stolen radios. So they reduce the number of stolen radios from 50 to 30. So by preventing 20 radios from being stolen times $25, we would be willing to pay a maximum of $500, because that's how much they would save us. We might look at it like, if as long as we're we would be willing to offer an inspector, or I guess here, a security guard, $499 if we knew with certainty that they would recover $500 worth of stolen radios. And, when you think of efficiency and, business mentality, it would still be worth it to pay $500 to save $500 when that $500 really represents a major drain in your flaw in your system. So it's kind of all the notation in red there. And for scenario C, if each security guard is paid $200 a week and the cost of a stolen radio is $50, how many security guards should the firm hire? So now the purple column is what we've set up, where we're taking a $50 stolen radio and we're just multiplying it times the number of radios that worker or that security guard is preventing from being stolen. In this case, $50 is basically, we're doubling the value of each stolen radio. So another way we can simply do this is just to double everything we see in the green column. And it just comes from $50 times the same numbers in the blue column. And so the first worker is saving us $1,000 worth of radios being stolen. Second is saving $500. The third and fourth are both saving $300 in radios being stolen. So since we only have to pay $200 a week, the first, second, third, and fourth workers are all bringing or saving more value than we're actually having to pay them. So we end up with a net gain by having those workers come in. However, that fifth worker still only recovers $100 in value. They still would have to be paid $200 just like all the other workers. Therefore, we would not hire that fifth worker even if the cost of a stolen radio were doubled to $50. So that's kind of looking at a similar question where we take the original values, the total values here, the total number of stolen radios per week when we have a specific number of security guards. And from that, we can bring out the marginal change in those values. And from that, when we're given the dollar value of each unit of marginal change and the cost of hiring that security guard, we can figure out what the optimal number of security guards to hire would be, and essentially minimize loss as much as we're maximizing